Welcome back, guys. I've got a treat for you today. It's a little deck tech, but also going to be a feast for your eyes. This is all foil deck and has some cool cards in it. So this is the original World Championship deck for Lord of the Rings from 02-03 Worlds. And this was played by Mathieu Brochu, and he calls it Badbeef Fellowship. You'll kind of see it's a very interesting deck. But I just want to share it with you guys. Do a deck tech with real cards here, and like I said, we're just going to go over the free people's side today. But you'll see it's all foil, and it's paired with a standard Uruk-hai. And that's one thing you'll notice about this deck. It's very heavily metaed for an Uruk-hai metagame because day 3 of Worlds, if you check out the deck lists, I want to say 14 out of the 16 decks were Uruk-hai. That's how dominant it was. So some of the card choices in here, we'll do a detailed deck tech, but some of the card choices in here are really to beat that Uruk-hai matchup because that was just so prevalent and largely so much better than the other shadows in the Fellowship block. So let's get started. For our ring and ring bearer, let me set this off to the side here. We have Frodo, Reluctant Adventurer, and sorry about that, Frodo, Reluctant Adventurer, and that is going to be paired with, of course, Isildur's Bane. Try to get the, there you go. I wanted you guys to read the elfish there. What's fun having the foil if you don't show it off a little. So that's the starting fellowship then, is Gandalf the Grey Pilgrim. This guy's key because this deck largely is one of the reasons why they made the rule of 4, where you can only draw 4 cards in the fellowship phase. But this Gandalf actually says at the start of each of your turns, draw a card. So that does not qualify as in the fellowship phase. So you still get to draw that card plus an additional 4 if you're able to. So there's your starting fellowship. Then getting into the deck, the one thing I absolutely love about this deck is it plays a full 9 companions, 1 copy of each, and the 9 companions that you play are actually the 9 walkers from the 9 people who comprise the Fellowship of the Ring. So first you've got Aragorn, Ranger of the North, Boromir, son of Denethor. So Aragorn obviously is just a fantastic splash companion because you can at some point do his exertion and he can literally, take on 4 Uruk-hai at once and just, kill himself off. Then Boromir is great to keep the hobbits at a power level you need him to be at to be able to skirmish. Legolas Greenleaf, just a beautiful card, but obviously that's for the archery. Can take down an Uruk-hai in the archery phase because most of them are only 2 vitality. Gimli, son of Gloin. This one is more fringe, but he can actually, the first fight he takes on an Uruk-hai, he can beat an Uruk-hai because they're all 9 strength. If you exert him twice, he's a 10 and damage +1. So he actually wipes the first Uruk-hai he fights off the table. And then you can either heal him and do it again, or you can just spike him off the second one. Pippin, kind of just in here for some of the Hobbit synergies, and, he can remove a burden or heal. Sam in here also for the suicide aspect. Sam can exert twice to make him defender +1, so again, even a Sam can take on 2 Uruk-hai and kill himself off. Or, of course, he can become your alternate ring bearer if that's in the works for you. Mary does the nice healing, does the nice pumping of another companion. Exert him twice to pump. And so that's your 9 fellowship. You had Gandalf in the starting. There's your additional 8. So very nice. Additional 7. Gandalf and Frodo are starting, and here's your additional 7. So you just play 1 copy of each of these guys, and we don't really play any support for them. So it really looks like an extremely flimsy fellowship. You're not playing Rangers' swords or other cards that will bows, anything like that. Nothing to really pump these guys up. You'll do a lot of stacking stuff on Frodo and a lot of allies. You'll see is what this deck is built around. So the next stuff I'll show you is those allies. So you've got a big ally package. And the thing you'll find interesting about this, that I found interesting when I first started playing this deck, is you do not play the Horn of Boromir, because you kind of have your allies do their business on their own. You don't need to keep getting them involved in skirmishes. Elrond is in here just as an engine to make the deck go and draw cards. So you've got 3 Elrond, Lord of Rivendell. Galadriel is fantastic if you get one down before an Elrond. There's nothing like getting Galadriel down and playing an Elrond for absolutely free. That just feels like you're cheating when that happens. And then, of course, she also will heal herself as well as every other ally who's a home site 6. And as you may know about Elrond, Elrond will also heal himself also. So these guys are all self-healing. They're very good. So you're not really looking to get into skirmishes with them until you get to site 6, and then you can have them skirmish there. But prior to that, you're using them for their abilities. So you got a couple Galadriel. You do have a Celeborn in here. He just heals an elf ally. And again, Galadriel heals him, so that's healing all around. And then you do play the 3 archer allies in Calagan will wound a minion in the regroup. And then these guys too are actually quite sweet, as they will wound a minion during the archery phase. So Orifin will take out an entire Uruk-hai himself, and Rumil will help against not being swarmed by Moria Swarm, but if you're playing Uruk-hai, he doesn't really do much. Then you've got your Hobbit allies in Bounder and Philibert Bolger. This one, again, just excellent against Uruk-hai, because you can just, your crappy hobbits can just cancel skirmishes, and they've got the extra vitality to be able to exert to do that. So it's just a fantastic way to get wounds on those hobbits, but keep them alive. And then Bounder, of course, kind of same thing, prevent a hobbit from being overwhelmed unless they're tripled. And then Thror and Dwarven Smith, he's just to throw in there and get skirmishes. Again, he doesn't need a horn. He just skirmishes on his own per his own text. So that is the ally package. Very extensive ally package, as you can see here. So the deck is very based around playing these allies. Then the next phase of the deck I want to show you is the stuff that you will stack on your Frodo. So you are, as you may have noticed, playing the Reluctant Adventurer that makes artifacts, possessions, and tails on him -1. That's what most of this stuff is. So you've got Sting, 2 Stings. Obviously, the original printing of this made it very hard to be an orc deck. That's also why Uruk-hai were so popular, because Sting does not work on Uruk-hai, but it does work on orcs. But still a fantastic card. Got 2 of those. Then you've got Mithril Cloak, a little overpriced, but again, when it only costs 1, it becomes a lot better. And you can make the Uruk-hai minions lose their damage bonuses, because Frodo will get powerful enough that he can not be overwhelmed by an Uruk-hai. Thror's Map to play the next site. That's especially good to play either, largely the site that discards all the allies. You want to play that, play your own site 7, so your opponent can't play theirs. Oh, Elbereth Gilthoniel, just a little pump, but also cancel the skirmish with a Nazgul. So yeah, so that is kind of the package you stack up and make a big Frodo. So you've got the Splash Companions, the big Frodo, and the allies. That's really the gist of the deck. The last part then is the skirmish canceling. So there's heavy skirmish canceling here. In Fellowship, you can cancel skirmishes with the Ring Bearer, and you also have a number of other hobbits. So we're running a full play set of Hobbit Stealth to cancel those skirmishes with hobbits. And we're running 3 Hobbit Intuitions. More skirmish canceling. So that's huge. Then in terms of condition control, you've just got a couple Secret Sentinels. And the last card of the deck is you have a couple copies of Foul Creation. Again, you can tell this is for an Uruk-hai meta. So that's the deck. 36 cards. Like I said, very fun to play, because when you do this, you're killing off stuff all the time. You feel like you're losing, but you're winning. You just keep going, you keep moving, you keep drawing cards, you keep cycling through your stuff. It's not like other fellowships where you've got valuable companions that you need to keep alive. You just keep cycling through your companions, cycling through your allies, and just keep moving. That's kind of the theme of the deck. And like I said, I just love that it's based around the 9 main walkers with just 1 copy of each, with no enhancements or pumps. So I find that really cool. Lastly, just let me run the site path for you quick. Got the green dragon in to play Sam. Got Ettenmoors, again, so you can get exertions to pump your own guys. Rivendell Valley is pretty sweet because that's got play an elf to draw a card. So when you come off this on turn 2, start the turn here on turn 2, you put your elf allies down, you can just play an elf, draw a card, play an elf, draw a card. It really works very nice with those allies. Hollin for Uruk-hai. Bridge, that's the only site. This one's key for your elf allies. Each ally whose home site is 6 is strength +3. So you can actually have all those guys fight here and still survive to fight or to live on another day to use their abilities. So that's pretty cool. And again, this one is just skip the archery phase, but the important thing is we're not discarding every ally. And this, I'm assuming, is just in here because it costs 9, because we don't play orcs, but obviously 9's a big shadow number. And the last site, also site 9 with the 9, is for Uruk-hai. So like I said, some of the sites in there are because we're paired with Uruk-hai for our defense, but I wanted to show you at least the sites that impact the free peoples. So that's the deck, guys. Appreciate you watching. And like I said, very historic, fun deck to me because it won the original championship, but it's also just very nostalgic just to go through here and just look at all of the cool foils, especially the foil companions here of all of the main guys and then all your allies. It's just really fun to have a deck like this, pull it out every so often and play when you're playing in the Fellowship format. I did see recently in the PC GEMP formats, they've errated some of these cards. Let me know if you guys are interested in discussing that at all. I do have the errated printouts for these too, so that if I want to play a more fair version of this deck, we can. I'm not going to talk through these with you right now, but these are basically the PC errated versions of some of the cards, so you can kind of see which ones were probably targeted as being problem cards in the deck. So can do a little tech on that as well, but that'd be a different video if we decide to do that. Today just wanted to kind of show you the original World Championship deck, show off some of that shininess, and talk through the deck tech with you. So thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more videos.